world has been so caught up with what he can do that no one has asked what he should do.
That's how it starts.
We're moving on to the bad. Okay?
Right.
For me, the first thing that I said when I walked out of it, the first thought, and there's not much wrong with it for me, okay? But there's 15 minutes toward the end of the film, basically the end battle. There's just, I'm gonna invent or key. This is one of my key terms, okay? Mm-hmm. It's gonna be used on maybe some other future shows, okay? Mm-hmm. CGD, computer generated distortion. You hear me? Okay. So when Doomsday shows up, it's not a spoiler because it's in the trailers. When Doomsday shows up, it becomes very Man of Steel-ish in that it's oversaturated with CGI. Mm-hmm. And I call it distortion because there's just so much that my eyes just kind of, when you tune out, when you're bored when somebody's talking, or when you're at school and you're bored, and you tune out and you don't even know what happened. Mm-hmm. That's what happens with my eyes. They tuned out for that 15 minutes.
I think it would have been better if it wasn't 3D though.
Oh no, absolutely.
That's another thing. I don't
absolutely.
like 3D.
The 3D,
my eyes can't.
3D, no.
This movie would look way better if it was not 3D.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. It was very
some
hard.
Of that
there was actually some points where I took off the glasses.
Yeah, me too.
To look at the screen when it wasn't so 3D.
Yeah,
just to look at it basic. Yeah.
Anyway, that whole thing. I mean, I understand they want to make it big, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just, you know what? Build a bigger set piece. Like, make the rubble real. It felt like a lot of it was fake. You know what I mean? I know practical, I mean, this had a huge budget, right? But I like smaller sometimes is better to me because it's clearer and you feel like you can touch it, right? What was with those lightning bolts? Like, not only did it have the shockwaves, but all these lightning bolts and all this.
Flash to me.
It's a little honky to me.
I'm just like, how are you guys going to make that different for Flash then? You know?
A little, yeah.
Because I'm like, I was expecting all that lightning stuff from Flash. How are you going to make that different now so that you don't look like Doomsday?
And then the appearance of Doomsday just reminded me of Abomination from The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is this thing? It looks exactly the same as anything else.
True.
Right? Not much. I think for me the music was there were good moments, but not as, I guess maybe I have to adjust to it because I'm so attached to the other scores from the other Batman films that I love, and Man of Steel. I love those themes, the theme that Hans Zimmer did for Man of Steel as well, but especially with Junkie XL in there. Changed it up a little bit, so maybe I have to get used to it. Anyway, so, what do you guys think?
Yeah, well, the bad for me, I'm going to have to agree with you on the CGD term. It was too much CGI at that point in the movie. Like, there was just too much. My eyes
that
were
type,
overwhelmed.
because CGI is good.
Yeah,
right?
It is good, especially now in 2016.
But that type was just...
Yeah, it's just like, it was too much for my eyes, especially it being a 3D movie. Seeing that much CGI and so much different things going on in the scene for me kind of had my eyes like, no, I don't like what I'm looking at. But so that for me was a turnoff. And there was a lot of music. They could have cut back on some of the music, certain parts. And although each character had their own theme, when
that was
they
nice.
came in,
That was nice to hear.
I liked that.
Yeah.
But there was other parts where you could have left it blank without the music, and we still would have had the feeling that the music gives you. What else did I like? Overall, I like the movie. I'm really surprised that I like it so much.
Oh, you got nothing left for the bad?
Yeah, that's it for me.
Okay.
I think I'm a little bit more harsher on this film actually, because a lot of my good is on the fence, right? It like flip-flops. One thing about this movie is that this is not Batman vs Superman. This is not a Batman vs Superman movie. I don't know if you guys agree, but hear me out.
Go for it. Because I think I do.
This is Batman and Superman Dawn of Justice. It's more of a Dawn of Justice movie than a Batman vs Superman movie.
Yeah.
The whole thing, they're what I was led to believe in the first teaser that got me so excited for this is not what this movie was.
Oh,
it was
interesting.
different.
Really?
Not to say that it was bad, but it was different because the whole false god thing, and they did play on it, but they didn't play on it to what I thought that they were going to do as to why they would be fighting. I thought that Batman was very arrogant in this movie, and he wasn't listening, and that to me is it was like he was clouded and blinded, and I'm not used to Batman being clouded or blinded by anything.
You him being sharp
and hearing, because the only reason why they fought, it wasn't two different, like you said that you wanted them to fight for their cause. They weren't fighting for their cause against each other.
Luthor.
It was fueled by Lex Luthor.
Was, yeah.
And I didn't like that either.
And not
the
only
deception,
was it like Batman's fighting Superman because he doesn't know who this alien is, right? Which is what we all thought. But Superman is only fighting him for alternate, not because he doesn't like him. He's fighting him because he has to, because Batman is fighting him. And he's trying to talk to Batman, but Batman's not listening. You get what I'm saying?
But you know what? Because Superman is such like, he has so much integrity, and he's all about good. I don't think it would have made sense for us to see Superman turn.
Well,
you know what I mean?
That makes sense.
You have to make it work, I think.
Yeah.
I think, okay, yeah. I guess
you have to choose an angle, I guess, right?
But then
That's
why
the
was he
angle they went
like,
for.
who is this Bat Vigilante? Like, they were building up something that we never got. When they shine your light in the sky. Like, that point, when they shine your light, don't come, the Bat is dead. It's like he doesn't want this guy around. He doesn't want, but no, they never fought over any of those ideologies.
Yeah.
They only fought about something else that was played into them.
Yeah.
So it wasn't Batman versus Superman. It was a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
It was a misunderstanding that got them to fight, and then they teamed up. And then how they teamed up was a little. I mean, I understand.
Quite different from the comic. I don't know how into that.
So you expected Batman to be
comic.
more pessimistic than he was. And you expected Superman to also be a little more pessimistic and be like, so they clash more.
Yeah, I wanted them to fight more, and I wanted them to fight because they don't know what each other are about. Not Superman fighting Batman to defend himself, because it just looked like Batman was just like throwing it, like he was just like, no, I don't care what you are, I don't care what you say, I'm killing you. And Superman was kind of like, stop killing me, I'm trying to join you. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So,
the thing about that is very human.
It was. Yeah, it's very raw.
When you get set on a path and you're so emotionally invested and you just think you're doing the right thing, and then you just kind of realize, I know a lot of critics didn't like when he switched all of a sudden when they found the common ground with the mother. But for me, I related to that because I'm like, sometimes you're so set on a direction, and then you have a realization, you're like,
but again,
I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Wow, okay, I guess I gotta, flip.
To counter your thought on that, actually, Superman knows that he could have finished Batman from the beginning, and he stated that. And they made that line so clear.
That's true.
For us to know that we know that there's no real competition between the two, right?
Okay.
So they had to use that angle for Superman because he would have finished him, and there would have been no more movie. You know what I mean?
People are going in already asking, why is Batman even fighting Superman?
Oh, yeah.
Because
They don't
Superman
have
could
to take
destroy
that
him.
angle. Yeah.
Right? Like, even fans. These are
Okay, so
fans
that- yeah,
going
so
in
that makes
saying,
sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Another thing I didn't really care for, Jesse Eisenberg was a good actor in this movie, but that wasn't Lex for me.
It wasn't Lex for me either.
Like, he did a good job, but that wasn't Lex. Like, that was more like, okay, we could have probably saved him. Maybe he could have been the Riddler. Maybe he could have, like, the way how he was playing it. Yeah, like, it wasn't, that was not Lex. But he did a good job at playing whatever he was supposed to be playing, but that wasn't Lex.
I thought it was fresh, man. Like, why do we have to say what the Joker is? What
no, we don't have
this
to,
is,
but
what
it's
this
just
is,
a
right?
high liberty. Like,
He
like
was
they took a
so
lot
obsessive. He was so jittery, but then not. And then just smooth. And then just like he'll lose it. It's like he was going to lose it
But
at
Lex
any
Luthor
time.
is supposed to be like president. You know,
That's
not crazy.
Not quirky like
There's a few different interpretations, obviously, right?
Yeah.
But no, I see what you're saying. I see where you're coming from. Because that's what I first thought yesterday when I first saw it. I was like, yeah, he's just playing himself, really. Because he is kind of a motor mouth, right? This guy, Jesse Eisenberg. He's a motor mouth. He's always like
And his
that.
personality is quirky.
And
like
that's
that too.
what his personality is. But then he started putting in these hand gestures and just these little quirks about his face and stuff like that. I'm like, taking a little bit from even the Joker, maybe.
Yeah, that's how I felt.
Menacing, like that. And I guess
I didn't think he was scary though.
I like Lex
I didn't think he was scary.
more as that.
one of the other things that I wanted to that I wanted to say was the beginning of the movie was, I think, its strong point to show the connection between Man of Steel and where Batman was, or Bruce Wayne was at that time. I thought that was brilliant.
Very old school, the way they overlapped the films. Yeah,
I thought that was great. But I also felt at times, especially in that beginning half, I felt like I was watching two different movies. It didn't seem like it collided. Like I felt like I was watching
agree with
Batman.
you. I honestly
and a
felt
Superman
like
movie.
the editing for the first 45 minutes of the movie
Off.
all over.
It was all over the place. It's like
Yeah.
Zack Snyder, the director of this film, he knows how to bring visual effects together, but I don't think he's the best storyteller, which is why you didn't really care for Man of Steel. You know what I mean? And this movie, I feel like the editing was just, it was all over the place, but the ideas were there.
Yeah.
Because like even... Yeah, the ideas were there. I'll save the next thing that I have to say for the verdict, but like, because there's a general opinion thing that I have in there, but
Well, that's
I think
why.
that because the
Sorry.
content, there was so much.
It's so big.
That's why he had to like edit it like that, because there was non-stop go like action, this story, everything.
I have to say this.
Go ahead.
For them to build up Jason Momoa, they never build up Ray Fisher or Ezra Miller. So Ray Fisher, Cyborg, Ezra Miller as Flash. But they built up Jason Momoa as Aquaman. They built up like just right under, because we knew it was Batman, Superman, and right under was Wonder Woman, and right under that was Jason Momoa. This did nothing.
Yeah. They're better off not showing him basically.
Basically,
I'm like, what are you trying to say?
They shouldn't. Yeah, they shouldn't have.
Not showing him.
Oh, and the bit that they did show of him, it shouldn't have been that much. If it was that they were showing us, it did nothing.
Maybe just him swimming by, like quick or
something smaller, because it was nothing.
Yeah.
It was absolutely nothing. A good point was like, I like how they used all the characters. That was great, because people were wondering how you're going to utilize all these characters. Well, they did it in a good way. It's just that for Jason Momoa's character, there was no point.
Yeah.
I hear you.
I think I have more bad than good.
Well,
but I still like the movie.
I think it's like for me it's like the bad stuff is like very specific things.
Yeah.
The good is just like, see, the thing you were talking about with the how much content and the editing and how it's a little all over the place, right? I think we all agree with that, right? That's what made me feel like a child, and the child doesn't care. You know, I'm just having such a good time. It's like one of my favorite sequels, RoboCop 2. Everybody hates that fucking movie, right? Or critics do. Critics do. Fans love it. Critics hate it, right?
Yeah.
But I love that movie. I was like 3 years old watching that movie. I'm like, you know, and I didn't care. That's what it made me feel like. Actually, RoboCop moment in this, first of all, he looks like him in the armor, especially his face. And then he comes through the wall.
Oh, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Actually, without the armor. He's like,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, 1987. Anyway, we should have seen him, the whole break-in at LexCorp. Where was that scene?
Yeah, when that happened, and you just
We could have used another Batman
when
scene.
we just see that scene like that, it kind of threw me off. Like, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know who did it. I didn't know what was going. It lacked content, like that scene specifically. It lacked, like, it needed more. You know what I mean?
But then afterwards, you're like, did you see all the damage he did? You see how angry he was? That scene would have been probably close to the warehouse boogie scene. You know? Yeah, the warehouse boogie. But anyway, yeah, like, that's the only time where I was like, oh, give that to me, man. You didn't give it to me, but...
I wanted it too. I want to see it. And they just took that away from me.
Oh, and my last thing, I'm pretty sure, I don't know what you got, you liked it. The vehicles. Batman's vehicles, I'm not feeling it.
You know what? I never saw enough of it, but the little bit that I saw, like because I didn't see inside, but I just liked it. It looked military, it looked cool. Like, that's it. It just looked big and tough.
Yeah.
That's it. But it's not like there's no fine details for me to be
Yeah.
like, oh,
We didn't see much,
this, that, and
right?
whatever. Yeah, I didn't see
Yeah.
much. But for the little bit, I mean, just like Jeremy Irons, though, we didn't see much of him
We did
as
not, no.
Alfred.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that it's not good, because we know that there is a Batman movie coming, and
Right.
we're gonna get more.
So maybe,
Yeah.
So that's that's when we'll probably get the vehicle.
But you know what
for
else
sure.
lacked for me? The Batcave. Because the Batcave in Dark Knight Rises was on point. You know the white room?
Yeah.
I love that. The Batcave in this movie for me was just You know what I mean?
We'll get
Like
more.
your basement.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll probably get more.
I don't know what
an
that was.
expensive basement.
I liked how the thing opened, right? And then
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
In the
cool.
river.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, if you like this video, go ahead, click the thumbs up button. If you didn't like this video, go give it a big thumbs up. Show everyone you're not a hater. Don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to our channel to stay up to date with everything that we got going on here at Cinema Circle.